everyone.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, and I made you a co-host already.
Okay, so let's see, I've got to move this because my camera's on my other monitor, so let me move it.
You guys, please do me a favor and rename yourself so that your last name doesn't show. Okay. Dorothy, if you can do that, that'd be great. Danielle, who's not with us yet. Just for privacy's sake, since the replay will be posted unlike Twine.
Well, shoot.
Do you want me to do it for you?
I usually don't have trouble, but
I'll do it.
try
I got
again.
it. I already started.
Okay. Thank
It's
you.
done. Super simple, fast for me to do. It's just Danielle.
And it is, I agree, it's
Wonder
it's
why
scary.
it showed up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've had some scary adventures with both names showing in the 30-some years I've done shows and since they've had videos. So please don't show your last name. She's absolutely right.
I changed it in Telegram and it's never shown up before. I don't know why it showed up here. Oh, well.
It's
Thank
just
you.
because it's your Zoom account. So if you go into your Zoom account, like you can just change it. So every time you're on any call with Zoom, it only has your first name.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Thought I did that, but who knows? Thanks.
well, I'm doing it like now it's no big deal, but think about this, you guys, when we grow and grow and grow, I mean, we're going to have a lot of people in this little PMA.
True.
Just lift it up and move it. Let me move my computer. Don't touch my computer. Let
This
me
is
move
my
it.
table too, okay?
Hey.
Hi there.
Hi,
We weren't
Cindy.
muted, as you were having an argument about positioning the computer. Sorry about
In other words, don't touch my computer and no one will get hurt, right?
Yeah,
That's so fun.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome, you guys.
It's so much fun to get to see everybody because on the other two calls, we just hear the voices.
I have problems with my video. So I can't, I'm not very good with computers. So I just try my best and I just try to hear if I can. So I do, but I'm here.
We see ya.
Yeah,
That
you're
is
great.
good. Hi, Lori. All right, you guys, we'll get started at the top of the hour and I'll introduce Dr. Gloria and everything. And oh, Cynthia's with us.
Cynthia's with us? I don't see her.
I just let her in the room. There
Oh.
she is. Awesome.
There she is. Okay.
Okay, I decided, well, I'll announce it when we officially start. I was going through the spreadsheet and I decided that I am going to do a video addressing everything that I read on that spreadsheet so that then everybody can hear the answers to everything. I was going to answer everybody individually, but what if you didn't write down something that you would benefit from the answer to somebody else's question?
Yeah.
So it makes more sense just to kind of go through everything and give answers to everybody. Hi, Cynthia. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Cynthia.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Hugs, kisses, hugs.
Hugs, kisses. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, we will start in 1 minute. How did you guys get in? Did you get in from Telegram or did you get in from the website?
The website.
Yeah, the
Telegram.
website.
I got into the Telegram.
The newsletter.
Raise hands if you use the website. So it's about half. It's about half. It was easy. It's easy.
Very easy. Yes.
It's right there. You jump in, first thing you go. Here's what's happening. Get in there. It's great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they just added that yesterday, I think. So
it looks
I'm happy.
Great.
It does. It looks wonderful.
We've got such an awesome team. Go team.
Yes, we do. Is Kelly here? No, not yet.
I don't think so. I don't see her.
Okay, I just am gonna change names here. So Linda, nobody sees your name really unless you talk, but I just want to protect your privacy. And here we are. It's 11 o'clock. Okay, so Trudy and Linda, if you guys can come on camera, I want to see your cute little face. That is very, very helpful for an energetic standpoint as well.
I'd like to see Trudy's beautiful face, and she sent me such a sweet card, and it was full of wonderful, wonderful, loving, encouraging words. It means so much. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful.
Okay, that was really sweet. And Teresa, if you could please come on camera. Trudy, we want to see your cute little faces, and then we'll get started. I want to respect everyone's time while you guys are here. And thank you all for coming to our second call for WoW, Waves of Wellness. I love that. Laura actually is the one who came up with that name. It's super fun. And talk to you a little bit about what we're going to do today based on what I was able to extrapolate from your guys' surveys that you did. But first, who did their homework? If you can just raise your hand, who did their vision statement? Okay, a couple of you. So
What was that you needed? What was that I didn't do?
a vision statement.
This was from last week.
Yeah, so essentially,
Thank you. I'm sorry.
oh, it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and reframe it so you guys can participate in this. And essentially what it is you listen to that song Unwritten, and you write a vision statement as if it's a year from now, in present tense as if it's already happened. And then read that vision every morning and every night. Okay? It's a subconscious mind programming that's very, very helpful because it will set up your law of attraction for your vision that you want to see. And it can be in all different things. So last week I used the example for me that it is September, I don't even know the date, 15th, 2024. And I am in Italy because we are launching a QHS healing center in Italy, and we are having so much fun. And so something like that. Okay. So, but you want to, so it really, really is effective because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And so it believes what you feed it. So feed it what you want, not the absence of that. All right. And it will figure out a way to make it happen for you because it's just pure basic law of attraction. So that is last week. This week, what we're going to talk about is last week, we noticed that a lot of people wanted to lose weight. And so I am going to provide a couple different things, a couple tools for you. One is a weekly meal plan that you can use or not, totally optional. Everything here is optional for what you guys feel that you resonate towards. And some of you will say, oh yeah, I want to do a meal plan like that. And others won't. And that's okay. But I'm going to give you these tools for your tool belt. So I'll post a meal plan, and I will also start working on basic exercises, everything from like exercise videos. So I'll just do very beginner to start with. Okay. Because everybody's going to come to this with a different fitness level. And so we're going to start at the basics and gradually build up the library. Okay. I will do cardio, strength, mobility and flexibility, and then some yoga. So that will help with balance. Okay. Those are all different components that are all equally important. So I'll be posting those. I'll start working on those later today. And so one thing is I've had lots of conversations with Dr. Gloria. I just really, really love her. She's a wealth of information and I appreciate her so much. So she and I had a conversation about lymphatic drainage and lymphatic health. And so I asked her if she would come and explain what that actually means, because I don't think it's a very common discussion, and it will help with the weight loss goals as well as, you know, decreasing inflammation and all that other good stuff in your body. So I am going to allow her to go ahead and take it from here and we'll get started.
Great.
I'm going to go ahead and mute.
Okay, thank you for that nice introduction of what you're going to be doing too. when Tracy and I had the conversation about weight loss is not the big emphasis of my 47-year practice. It's detoxification, holistic rejuvenation, and inflammation, gut health. I almost died from leaky gut after an accident. So it became a reality after helping so many patients through the years. But the thing that people don't understand, because nobody tells them, is that the lymphatic system is only talked about in medicine, for instance, when the doctor says, oh, you've got lymphoma, you've got lymphedema, right? Shake your heads, yes. You don't hear the doctor sitting there telling you how important the lymphatic system is and what it really does. The lymphatic system is more extensive than our blood circulatory system. Now just think about that for a minute. More extensive than the blood circulatory system. But the big difference is that the lymphatic system has no pump. The heart is what pumps the blood, right, through the body. But the lymphatic system has no pump. When our Creator made us, a lot of people have said, well, did he screw up? Did he forget? Did he get sidetracked and didn't finish it? No, it's because you have to take some responsibility for moving that lymph. The heart, you don't tell the heart, okay, pump, pump, pump. But now we've got the responsibility of pumping the lymphatic system ourselves. So at the end of my sharing with you today, I'll give you the 4 things that we know medically and scientifically and from personal experience, what moves that lymphatic system. It's simple. It's nothing difficult. It's nothing that costs money. You know, it's not a drug. It's not a supplement. It's something you have to literally do yourself or have a professional like a lymphatic massage therapist do the therapy on you. So the thing that I want to do first, and I just made a couple of notes on my other screen, which I usually don't do, but I wanted to give you some real meat of what the lymphatic system is. It allows the circulation of the fluid called lymph to go throughout the body. So similar to the blood, right? Except that the lymphatic system is fighting disease as well. That's the important thing to remember. It's essential for your fluid balance. In other words, that's why our feet swell when we're not moving like I have. And so besides type 2 diabetes, I have I have damaged blood vessels in my left leg from the blood clot that I got. So the lymphatic system is really important for me to keep moving. Most of you, probably like me, are at the computer all day. I'm here 15 hours a day. This is ridiculous. Our life will not be like that after we get into our do-over and start our lives over again with helping everybody. This is ridiculous. This isn't living. This is surviving. So it plays not only a vital role in your immunity, but it's essential to absorb fatty acids. So hear me out, because Tracy was talking about how the lymphatic system and the knowledge of it helps you to lose weight, but it also helps with the absorption of fatty acids from the stomach, and it helps then to regulate the immune functions, okay? So I don't think any of you, if you do know, raise your hand, but do any of you know roughly how much fluid or how many lymph nodes we have in the body? Can anybody take a guess? How many lymph nodes? Does anybody have an idea? Can anybody speak up there? Raise your hand so Tracy can. No. Oh, I figured Cynthia would know. Okay, well, how many lymph nodes do we have roughly? Can you unmute her? Or can she unmute herself?
She's not muted.
Oh. How many do we have, Cynthia? Do you know?
I've got a challenge. There we go.
There.
Okay. 16.
16?
Yeah, that's
You
my
know
guess.
what? Okay, you know what's so wonderful about that number? Is that most of the medical doctors, when I had taught at medical universities, said the same thing. They said anywhere from 15 to 20. So you would be in that area. We have 750 to 800 lymph nodes in our body.
Wow.
And so Cynthia, you knew just as much as the MDs did. I mean, I remember being embarrassed, though. I have to tell this. When I was asked to be the guest professor at the university in Prague, Czechoslovakia, several years ago, they asked me to talk about leaky gut inflammation, and the lymphatic system. So I said, okay, I said, most of the doctors, when I'm lecturing or teaching, have no idea the extent of the lymph nodes, how many we have. And I said, so I bet none of you know, and they all knew. They all knew it was over 700 because it's generally in the United States conventional medical system that it's not taught, just like nutrition isn't taught.
Right.
And Tracy has mentioned this, I think Cynthia has too, and I know Darlene has mentioned it, much to her credit, because they only have, when I almost died from my accident and my blood clots and the whole bit, my critical care internist was a godsend. He was an integrative medical doctor in Spokane, Washington. And he said to me, get out of here after intensive care for almost 2 weeks. He said, go do what you do with your patients, Gloria. Because he said, you know more about nutrition than I'll ever know. And I'm a critical care internist with extensive, I don't know how many years, more than 20 years of education. This man was one of the highly respected physicians that used to be called, from Washington to Seattle to Spokane, all over the place, even to Oregon, because he was a specialist in cases like mine, where you have the blood clots and then pulmonary embolism. But he said, I have about 8 hours in my extensive training, where my whole life has been dedicated to nutrition and in dentistry, because I was in dentistry 11 years from Loma Linda University before I went into this. We never discussed the lymphatic system in dentistry unless you had swollen lymph nodes. Then we start looking at the neck and we look for an abscessed tooth, or we look for a cracked tooth, or some kind of nerve damage. But other than that, it was never discussed, even at Loma Linda. So 750 to 800 is a lot, okay? Now, when you think of the fact that the majority of those are located in the abdomen. So I think, Tracy, I sent you a schematic, didn't I, that showed the lymphatic system?
You sent me a schematic about dry brushing, and you have share screen ability if you want to do that.
Oh, I wish I would have thought of that. Okay, but I can make that available. So what happens is, when you look at the schematic, excuse me, of the lymphatic system, you'll see that most of it is concentrated around the breast. Women that have sore breasts and under the armpits understand that. I can touch myself right now in my collarbone, and I can tell you I've got some lymph soreness there. Behind the knees is another place. Obviously in your feet, especially like in your ankles. Sometimes you'll have a massage, for instance, or you'll be massaging your feet and you think, ooh, why does that area around my ankle hurt? Well, it's because the fluid is all going downward and gravity is working against you, not with you. And I'll share about that in a minute. So that said, it's important to remember that the lymphatic system is more extensive than the blood circulatory system, okay? So what is the largest lymphatic system in the body? The spleen. And see, doctors don't tell you when you've got, spleen, they're going to remove your spleen. Well, number one, they took all your immunity away. Number two, they never tell you that the spleen is part of the lymph system. And the reason I wanted to share that with you is because if all this isn't working, you're not going to lose weight. And if you do, it's going to come right back, because you're not cleaning out the toxins that have been put into the body, because it's now hiding in the lymphatic system, not just in fat tissue. So Kelly's like, yep. And that's something that nobody tells you, even dietitians and nutritionists don't mention that. So it's the diaphragm, the gut, the intestinal tract, the stomach holds a lot of that in there. And the thoracic duct. People will hear, like I know Darlene does such a fabulous job with the scans that she does. And I want to touch on that for just a moment, if I can, Tracy, because I don't believe that people give the scans that she does enough credit. You can go to a doctor and get the blood work and get the urine analysis, and they'll tell you this is in range, this is out of range, etc. Do you realize that every laboratory practically has their own range of what's natural, of what's in range? I mean, I see them every day from patients, and it's like, okay, tell me what the range is. Don't just tell me you were within normal range, because every lab is different. I used to have a cheat sheet when I had my clinics. It didn't do me any good because their lab wasn't the lab that I had the cheat sheet for. So when Darlene does the assessment that she does with the bioscan, it's important that we all understand the value of that. I do a scan that's completely different with my patients. But what Darlene does, when you talk to a patient and say you have a lot of inflammation, okay, your lymph nodes are clogged, your lymphatic system isn't working, unless they see that bright red stripe on the results that you see on Darlene's test, they're not going to validate it. It doesn't, and I'm going to use the word scare, it doesn't scare them, it doesn't concern them enough. But when you see it on the report, when Darlene does it, it's like, oh my God, look at that red line. Isn't that correct? Doesn't that give people a whole different picture? So now they'll take it seriously rather than saying, oh yeah, no, you're within normal range, you're okay. So the thoracic duct is discussed, but it's the largest and most important lymphatic channel of the entire body. Why? Because the thoracic duct, okay, drains all of the lower extremities, the pelvis, the abdomen, the left side of the thorax, and the left side of the head and neck. That's why I went like this. So many times when I do a scan, I haven't been able to ask Darlene, but I need to. I don't know if her scans show the thoracic duct, but what happens is that on the left side of the neck, when that duct is clogged, that lymphatic isn't being cleaned out, it's going to affect the entire blood circulatory system. So how can you have energy? How can you have maximum immunity? And how can you lose weight if you're not priming the pump with the fuel that it needs to burn the fat? It doesn't work. So here's the next thing that I hope will shock you a little bit. How much lymph is in the body? Okay, where's Cynthia? She hit out on us. Where's
Kelly might know.
Kelly, do you know? Do you know how much lymph?
Several liters.
A couple. Yeah, wow, you're close. Are you an RN?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were. The average flow through the thoracic duct in an adult, okay, is about 3.5 ounces per hour, plus another ounce in other lymph vessels. I'm only talking about the neck, remember. So the total lymph flow in a female and in an adult body is 4 to 5 liters a day. A day. So just think of, a big liter of water. You've got 4 to 5 of those a day just in the lymphatic system. The only way that we understand the importance is like when my business partner is on kidney dialysis. His kidney shut down after getting COVID. We both got COVID. I ended up with severe concussion, blacked out on the floor. He ended up with kidneys shutting down. And when you go for dialysis, you're really aware of how much fluid comes out, how much goes in and how much comes out. So most people have no idea that it's 4 to 5 liters of lymphatic flow, just lymphatic flow in your body. Now, you're probably saying, okay, but what are the other functions? I mean, what are really the primary functions of the lymphatic system? Well, the first is that maintenance of the fluids that I mentioned earlier. But here's where we come into weight loss. Let me take a drink of water. Excuse me. It facilitates absorption of dietary fats from the GI tract, your gut, in other words, into the bloodstream in order for it to either be metabolized, in other words, burned, or stored as fat, or as fluids, as swelling, inflammation, okay? The third, it enhances and facilitates our immune system, as I said, because it's part of the spleen, which is your immunity. It takes care of all that health depleting bacteria, those viruses, the fungus, the candidas of the world. And it deals with cellular waste. And this is where I want to spend a little bit of time. The creation of a lymphatic system had only one purpose that we know of. And that was to get rid of cellular waste. Think about that for a minute. If you've ever seen your blood, like in live blood microscopy, that's where they put your blood magnified 1,000,000 times or whatever underneath a microscope. and you see the little happy little blood cells floating around in your blood. Okay. When a cell has reached its peak, its lifespan, it dies. But before it does, you see like a little, I don't know if you can see me, you see like a little shadow come out from underneath it. And that's the new cell. It gave birth to a new cell. Now it goes floating off. It's dead tissue now. It's debris. The lymphatic system's job is to get rid of that cellular waste. So if any of you have had colon hydrotherapy by a professional, you'll see when you have a lot of cellular waste coming out, because you'll see it in the machine. You'll see it in the viewing tube. And yes, we had colon therapy in my clinics, the whole bit. We've done it all. 45 years, we've done it all. And so it's important to understand that if you don't get rid of the cellular waste, that's when you end up with cancers. That's when you end up with lymphedema of all types, because there's many types. And you end up with all the soreness that is really nature's way of saying, move me, get the junk out of the plumbing, because that is your secondary plumbing system. It's also your secondary circulatory system. So the lymphatic system is clogged with dead waste. How is it going to help you burn, metabolize the excess fat? Even if you're starving yourself, you're going to have lymphatic issues that are sluggish because you didn't do anything to stimulate it. Remember, that's our responsibility. The heart takes care of the blood. We have to take care of the lymph. So I'm going to give you the most important ways that you can do that. And I did send, I don't know, you're going to share the diagram later on how to dry skin. Okay. The reason that I sent that to Tracy is that when I teach my postgraduate courses, even as I said, most MDs do not know. Kelly probably knows how to dry skin. Yeah, she probably knows how to do it properly. But what happens is they'll get a brush. Now remember, the brush should be a natural bristle brush, not one of those synthetic fiber things that you used as a bath brush to get the dead skin off. It needs to be a wooden handle, all wood, because then you can sterilize it. The only thing I use the microwave for is to sterilize. You can put it in there 5 minutes and it sterilizes everything, or you can put it out in the sun for 15 minutes on a hot day on your balcony or your backyard, and it'll sterilize it. Okay, you never, ever wash or wet that dry skin brush. Okay, because then you're not getting the effect that you need to get in order to stimulate the lymph. The lymph is right underneath the skin. It's not deep. And what happens when you use the dry skin brushing technique correctly, everything is being brushed into the middle part of the body. There it is. So everything is brushed. Pull up just a little bit. Okay, so you see how even down at the toes, you see how you're brushing gently upward from the feet, from the neck, up the shoulders, away from the breast. You never brush the actual breast. You don't touch the breast. You can do that manually, but not with a brush. You take from your hands and you go towards the center. Everything is towards the center. If you see the circle on the left part there, that's the whole solar plexus there. And that's where you want everything to go, so that then you can urinate it out. You can get it out of your system. Okay, it'll come out both ways, depending on how much water you're drinking, etc. If you're having colon hydrotherapy, it's going to come out in the bowel. So can you go up just a little bit, Tracy? Okay, so you start at the ankles and you go up, never back and forth, and never look at my hands. Thank you. That's great to see that. Never ever back and forth, and never any heavier than my nails, like a gentle breeze going on my skin. That's how the brush should feel. It should feel good, not like you're getting your skin red and you're irritating it. That's too deep. And anybody that knows about myofascial tissue, or a myofascial therapist that is certified, will tell you if you go any deeper, you're damaging the myofascial tissue, which is the net, the fiber that holds our body together. You don't need to go deep. It's right under the surface. So if you do that, and literally my dry skin brush hangs on a hook in my bathroom. So before you get into the shower, or during the day if you have a lot of swelling, do the dry skin brushing. You do every area 4 times. So one leg would be, in quarters, the arm in quarters. It takes less than a minute to do it, especially once you get really good at it. Less than a minute, literally. You can buy them online at Amazon. You can get them at a health food store. Just get an all natural bristle brush with oh, you are so good. See what Kelly's holding up? Mine has a shorter handle, Kelly. It has that little ergonomic handle that kind of curves. I don't know if anybody has one to show. Let's see. That's a good one too. There's one that has a thank you. There's one that has a little ergonomic handle that's shorter. And for me, that's easier because I can control it better than the long handle. But it's whatever you're comfortable with. The important thing is do it. It stimulates those dead cells in the lymphatic system, and you'll know, and drink a lot of water, of course, which we always tell you. But then that, along with the Q wave, is going to stimulate it. You can't expect one thing to do it all. Q wave's not going to do it when you're sitting around eating popcorn and not moving and having all kinds of junk food. The Q wave will accelerate all of the efforts that you're doing. The next thing is a rebounder. How many of you have ever used a rebounder, a medical type equipment? Okay. Oh God, Kelly, thank you. Kelly and I have talked on the chats, but people think it's like the kind of help me, not rebounder, trampoline that children used to play on. It's completely different. A rebounder has reinforced springs, is a small size. I can put my arms around it. The one that I have is foldable. When I went to China, and I know you were in China for a while, Cynthia, when I taught in Nanjing and in Shanghai, I took my foldable rebounder with the bar that fits in the case and checked it like you would check golf clubs on the airplane, because my feet were so swollen after my accident and everything I've been through that if I didn't do that, I didn't know what I was going to do in the hotel, because I wouldn't be able to be comfortable going to all of the different teaching hospitals. And so, but the rebounder, here's what you do. And I don't think I have an updated one from my postgraduate course. If I do, I'll send it to Tracy. When you just think of you holding on to the rebounder bar, you can buy them on Amazon now. When I bought mine years ago, they were 5 times more. Now they're not expensive and you can get the folding ones. When you hold on and you're standing barefoot or with socks on the rebounder, it's not about jumping up and down like a kid playing on a trampoline. Here's what you do. These are my feet. You're going to go one heel in and up, the other heel down and up. Okay, rotate them. When you get tired, you bounce them both at the same time. You're still holding on. Then you rotate again and you bounce at the same time. 15 minutes of that is like walking 4 miles. The reason that it's so important is that when you're walking, and I'm not saying not to exercise as has been recommended by Tracy and everyone else that is helping us with fitness. I'm saying that there are times you can't. I'm living in an area right now in an apartment complex that I hate. It's all concrete and it's not even good for me to walk around the neighborhood. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And so in this situation, there's no way I'm going to go out walking. Yet when I was in Ecuador for 4 years before I came back to Texas, I never had a problem with my lymphatic system. I walked everywhere. I did my rebounding 15 minutes a day, never had a problem. Came back to the States, health goes downhill. Does that tell you anything? The food was organic, you walked everywhere, you didn't have a car, you didn't need one. So when you do the rebounding, 15 minutes, it sounds like a short time. Do not start with that. Start with 1 or 2 minutes because you won't be able to move the next day. But here's the benefit of it. Okay? When you're walking, jogging, I hope somebody over 60 isn't jogging, but walking, jogging, exercising, whatever, you are pounding the sidewalk and gravity is working against you. It's pounding on your knees and your hips and your ankles. Think about it. your arches. But when you're rebounding, it is taking your weight. If you weigh 150 pounds, you're getting 300 pounds of exercise without anything stressing any of your body because gravity is working in your favor. And we call it a facelift from the inside out for every cell. That's how important rebounders are. It literally exercises every cell in the body. So are you going to lose weight? Of course you are. Because not only are you hydrating well, hopefully you're eating well and having good oils, not cheap vegetable oils that cause inflammation. But if you're eating the right oils and you're careful with what you eat, you're going to be exercising those cells so that with everything else you're doing, they're going to release the fat. You're going to feel so much better. That's 15 minutes a day. Now, when I had my house before I went to Ecuador, being on the computer as many hours as I was, once I closed my 2 clinics, I would do it about every hour and a half because I just couldn't be at the computer constantly like I am now. And so I would get up, and when I get up to get my water refilled or get another cup of tea or something to eat, I would literally bounce before. And sometimes I couldn't do 15 minutes. Sometimes I could only do 5 or 6. But when you think about it, you don't need to be doing it for an hour at a time. You wouldn't be able to tolerate it because that gravity is giving you that pull of twice your body weight, but it's not hurting anything, okay? The next way to be able to do, and remember, the ball of the foot and the toes never leave the mat. You're not bouncing the foot up and down. You are bouncing the heels. So both heels at the same time, and then you can rotate them. But do not let the ball of the foot or the toes leave the mat. That's not what it's for. We even had, when I was doing a lot of rehab patients, we had patients that were in wheelchairs and couldn't get up and do that. So I taught the therapist, this was at Mercy Hospital, because I did all the rehab programs and dietary plans for the seniors. That was the only thing I ever did for the hospitals. And we would pull their wheelchair up to the rebounder. They would put their feet on, sit up right in their wheelchair, put their feet on it, and the therapist would get on the rebounder and bounce for them. So they still got the effect. Even their blood sugar came down. Their blood pressure was better. Why? Because the entire metabolic system was functioning better. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's
yeah, and if you don't have a bar on your rebounder, you can hold on to like the kitchen counter or something.
Or a bookcase. I used to hold on to a bookcase too. Good idea. Yeah, because I had a bookcase in the study where I had my rebounders. I just held on to it until they came out with a bar. They didn't have bars in the beginning. Remember that, Tracy?
Mm-hmm.
They just had a rebounder, and then they came out with the bar. But if you do get one, I encourage you, get one that folds. You can throw it under your bed. You can put it in an extra bedroom and hide it. And if you're going to go for an extended period of time where you have a second home, you can pack it and save it, take it on as extra luggage. Okay,
and if you're going to watch TV, you know, like if you're in front of something like that, you can do that prior to, and you won't be so stiff from sitting.
Exactly. Even when we're listening to our calls, like on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm on every one of our Wednesday and Friday calls. You could be rebounding.
Great idea.
While you're listening, because you're not, isn't that a great idea? Because you're not live on camera. So maybe the admin team. So, okay, the next way that you can stimulate the lymphatic system is by a certified, and I'm going to be very, very picky about this, a certified therapist that is trained in lymphatic massage. Do not have somebody that took a weekend course in massage tell you that they know how to do lymph, because they don't. They're not trained to do lymph. When you do lymphatic massage, they take their hand, and for instance, they'll follow it very slowly. Like if this was my leg, they would take it and follow it and stop. My therapist was fabulous that I had in Idaho for 20 some years. And then you can see the water, you can see the fluid. And she'd wait until that fluid dispersed, kind of like putting a vise on it. Then she'd go up a little bit more. Kelly, have you seen that when they do that, where they guide the fluid in the body? Yeah. So then they keep going. Well, when she would do my legs and the left leg that I had the clots in and the damaged vessels, I mean, there was a big pocket of a balloon of fluid, but you couldn't tell when I was just standing. So when they do it, it should not be deep. It should just be gentle, but they follow it. and they always go up towards the center, towards the abdomen, towards the stomach, so that the center of the body then can take care of that excess fluid and get rid of it. And the last thing I'm going to tell you, and Cynthia, it's okay to say what kind of a tea I would use for that, right? Because I've used it 40 years.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Okay, there is a tea, and you need to write this down, because when I taught in Prague, they're the ones that told me. It wasn't my brainstorm. I don't take credit for that. The tea is called Cleavers. C-L-E-A-V as in Victor, E-R-S. Cleavers tea. You want to buy it cut and sifted, organic, cut and sifted. Don't buy it in tea bags and everything else, because you're not assured what they put in those bags. I've heard horror stories. I can get it sometimes on Amazon. You can also go to Herb Co. I think it's herbco.com. I sent you that flyer, didn't I, on how to make it? Tracy?
Yes, I
Yes.
printed that out.
Okay, so what you do is you use you use it like loose tea, okay? 1 heaping tablespoon per cup. It's the only thing known to man and medicine in general, natural health or otherwise, to clean out the lymphatic system. It's a Drano. And in Prague, they call the doctors, with their broken English, said it's like Dano, you know, the toilet. Dano. It's the Drano for the lymphatic system. It literally cleans it out. And we proved it when I was having colon therapy so often because of the leaky gut. And when I didn't drink my Cleavers, it was a normal release. When I drank it, it was sticky white substance coming out through the machine. It's that sticky, you know how you can get, if you get a pimple and you squeeze it, you might get the pus out to begin with, but then you get this kind of funny fluid, clear fluid, that's lymph. So if you've got, can you imagine liters of it in your body? I mean, you have to be able to clean all that out. The Cleavers does it. So 1 tablespoon per cup, and brew it for about 12 minutes, 12 to 15, no more than that, because it'll get bitter. It's very good. I like it iced. I like it. I'll make myself a pot of 2. Tracy, did you get your teapot yet?
No, because I have a couple of the tea diffuser thingies. So
Oh, okay. So I let it, I'll make 2 cups in the morning, every morning, and then I'll get busy on the computer or with a patient, and it gets cold. I don't care. I use a couple drops of stevia, and it's delicious. Iced is just as good. It doesn't matter, but don't make enough for the week, because it does form microscopic mold because it's a raw herb. Okay.
And Herb Co is out. When I ordered mine, Herb Co was out. So I posted the link to the Amazon one that I got that is clean and sifted and
good.
Whole leaf and all that. So
thank you. See, they're always out. And I have to tell you, one of my patients used to work for Amazon, and she said, Dr. Gloria, stop telling everybody about Cleavers, because we can't get it. Every time you do a class or a lecture, they sell out. And it's true. So I just did one last week, and they're sold out already on Herb Co. But it works. 1 tablespoon per cup. There's one side effect that you all need to know. And this is probably the best thing I could tell you. After more than, 100 and some thousand patients I've worked with in 40 some years, this is what I use. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm telling you what I use. This is what I use when they choose to get off their medications for high blood pressure, because the side effect is it lowers blood pressure. So you have to be careful. You're taking medication and you're drinking 2 or 3 cups of the Cleavers a day. You better be monitoring your blood pressure every morning, which you should be anyway, because it'll start dropping and dropping. Then you can decide if you're going to start reducing your medication. Do it slowly and do it with guidance. But the point is, that's the side effect. It cleans out the lymphatic system, but the side effect is it does lower blood pressure. It's the only side effect we've ever known in hundreds of years that the medical people and midwives is what I'm trying to say. In Eastern Europe, there were several doctors there from Siberia when I was doing the class at the university in Prague, and they said, "Oh, we've used that for pregnant women for centuries because they need to get the fluid out. They're having a hard delivery, or their lymph nodes are all swollen, and we give them Cleavers tea because it doesn't hurt the baby." So those are amazing, easy things to do. You're not out buying something that's toxic, adding to your total toxic load. And remember that in closing, I think the important thing is that I get frustrated that nobody is educating all of us. I learn every day. I learn as much from my patients and students as they learn from me, I guarantee you. But it's important, and there's a quote here that I'm going to get to that I copied because I love it. My Institute for Holistic Rejuvenation has a subline, and it's holistic with a W because it's mind, body, and spirit. It's not whole with an H, which I think leaves a hole in the whole program. But my teaching programs are health through education, THRU, which I have trademarked many years ago. Why? Because here's a quote, not my quote. I couldn't find who quoted it, but if you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. So that's why health through education is so important. And again, my appreciation to Tracy, of course, to Cynthia, and to Darlene for what she's doing, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And she is showing people with a graph in full color. If that graph was in black and white, I guarantee you it would not make the same impression. When they see red lines going across the chart, and she's saying, see, look at how acute your inflammation is, people listen. So I hope that's helped all of you. It's a lot to do, but I jammed it all in 40 minutes. So I hope that helps.
Can I thank you so much? I want to say you're so brilliant, but Dr. Gloria, how long have you been a member here with our group?
When we joined because of Ron in April.
Ron, in April. That's amazing.
In
See,
April. And I wanted
Tracy,
to be on the admin team, but you know the circumstances I'm under right now with kidney dialysis with my partner and stuff. So
you're so wonderful.
can't.
Dr. Gloria has got the goods. She really understands what's going on here. And to everybody that has listened to what she has to say and go, oh, do I have to do all that? What about the Q-arc? What can I do? I'm going to go into this bed and I'm going to have my 30-year-old body and forget about all that nonsense. Here's what I want you all to recognize. This is so important. It's so important to own this. You got to where you are today because of bad decisions that were made along the way, because of stressors that you allowed in your life and decisions that were made that brought those there. We're going to have a do-over. We're going to have the opportunity to have a refresher course in life, which is amazing. We're going to have the opportunity to have all of the stem cells refurbished, created anew. I can't wait. It's going to be so fantastic. It's been ages since I felt so good. And I'm looking forward to this experience. And when we have it, I don't want to get back into the same state. But when you have the ability to start strong, it's a lot easier to stay strong. Absolutely. So to your point here, Dr. Gloria, everybody should recognize slow, go slow. Go slow. 5 minutes. That's all. Yeah. You know, and start with that. So a couple times a day, 5 minutes, couple times a day. That's really wonderful.
Right. And if you can't do 5 minutes and you do 2, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know, like Cindy says, just be consistent, because what you do now is going to maintain what you gain after the arc. Otherwise, you might as well not even go, because you're going to have a temporary improvement. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be back into your old habits and not understand what every one of these body systems needs to maintain health. So to her point, it's that important. And thank you for that. That's really, I mean, we have to prepare you before with whatever we can do. That's my commitment. And I made that commitment to Tracy and to Cynthia that I would do whatever I could to give these type of informational forums so that we can help you prepare, but you also have to do it afterwards. It's a lifestyle change. It's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And Cynthia made reference to that the other night on the call.
Yeah. The destination. It's not it's the journey that while we're getting there. That's right.
Right.
Destination is in sight though. We've got the glasses, right?
Yes.
Tracy mentioned Jing. I love it if you could explain that, because I don't know if everybody heard about Jing and what that is. I love that analogy, Tracy.
So I've studied Qigong, And essentially, Jing is this savings account of energy in our body. And some healthy habits, or all healthy habits that we do, put energy into that savings account. And the stressors of life, unhealthy habits, and other things take it out. And so that's the whole purpose of bringing these waves of wellness, which are habits of health, same type of thing. But it's all adding energy into that Jing savings account. And so everything Dr. Gloria talked about today is adding Jing. Our QT waves add Jing. You know, drinking water, which I put lemon in my water all the time, that adds Jing. So that's kind of what that is. And Dr. Gloria, do you have a minute to take some questions?
Absolutely.
Can I say one more thing about that?
Yeah.
And Trudy has her hand up too, right? But I'm sorry, Trudy, if I can just ask this question here and add this. Jing, what you've mentioned here is what we eat and what we do, adding to it. But here, even more important, Tracy and Dr. Gloria, is what we think.
Yeah.
So when we think positive, hope-filled, beautiful thoughts for ourselves and our body and our organs and our actions and our future, we're adding a lot of Jing. That's so important.
We are.
And be aware of what's you're taking out with those negative thoughts, right?
Yeah, it's just
Perfect.
about, it's
Thank you.
impossible to do it all the time. However, I always say pivot faster. So when you catch yourself doing a negative slippery slope in your mind, a thought process, just catch yourself faster, have a pattern interrupt, and go the other way of what you are wanting. And that's going to create the results so much faster, because
So much faster.
just being aware of it is
Thank
the
you.
first step.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Very important. Thank you.
Well said, Cynthia. Trudy, do you have a question, girl?
Somebody did.
I saw her hand was up and she put it down, and now I don't see her.
Linda's got her hand up though.
Okay, Linda, where are you?
Right in the middle.
Well, if their hands are up, they go to the left or they go to the top row.
She's raising her hand. Just
Oh.
unmute and speak up, Linda.
Okay, Linda, go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Gloria, what
Yes,
about rolling? I do a class where we roll a lot of different parts of our body on rollers, and she talks about the fascia.
Yes, the
and-
myofascial tissue.
Yeah, is that
It's okay.
that
Because
helps with
the only
lymph
time,
system?
yes, it helps the lymph, but the only time that you would hurt the myofascial tissue, and that's a whole other presentation that is exciting, and I have videos on that, is that if you went deep, that's why I never allow anybody to do a deep tissue massage. A lot of massage therapists, if you can tolerate it, that's your business. But you do break that web of myofascial tissue every time that you do that deep tissue massage. You're breaking that web, and that web is what holds us together. And so the rolling is really good as long as it's not a hard roll where you're going to be hurting. The rolls I've seen are softer. Are yours soft?
It has a spongy.
Yeah, that's
kind
great.
of feel.
No, that's a good question. That's great.
Okay,
That's great.
thank
It's
you,
great to
though.
the lymph, and it will not hurt it will not hurt that. Since it's spongy, even if you went on it a little stronger or a little harder, it's not going to hurt. It's not enough to hurt it.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
good
you.
question. You're
And
welcome.
let me add to that, healthy tissue doesn't hurt. So it only
Right.
hurts, your fascia hurts when you have adhesions.
Mhm.
But once you break apart those adhesions and it becomes more pliable and less sticky and hard, then you're having healthy tissue. And I actually saved a client from getting a back surgery by teaching him how to foam roll his legs,
Wow.
because everything's connected and it all wraps around to his low back. So yeah, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and call on Trudy. Sorry, you guys, but she had her hand up and then we lost her. So Trudy, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sorry, just like that, my electricity went out and then it came right back on. So everything had to reboot. God. They're doing a bridge down here, so that's why I think we're having problems lately. I'm wondering about the vibrating plates. Those Are those good as much as a rebounder? If you
Yes,
use one?
yes, some of them are the newer ones. The older ones that came out 15, 20 years ago, no. But I
Okay.
have a couple of patients, I only have a couple of patients, but that have used them and they like it as well. So
Okay.
yes, I think the newer ones, if you've got a real old model, probably not, but the
All right.
newer ones, I wouldn't hesitate, not at all.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
just
Yeah.
stay well hydrated or you're not
Yep.
gonna move anything. Okay.
Okay.
But they are way more expensive.
Oh,
way,
yeah.
way. So there's that.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Kelly.
Oh, I could say I actually have one of those vibrating machines. My sister bought it probably 12, 13 years ago, and we use it all the time. We put our mom on it. She's about 80 years old. And she had problems with swelling herself. And once we started putting her on the machine regularly, the swelling went away. So it does work. I also do have the rebounder, the round one. And I posted a link to it. They actually make rebounding shoes, kind of like the old moon
Really?
shoes. Yeah,
Wow.
I've had them for years. They go on sort of like what do you call it? Like a roller skate or roller blade. And on the bottom, it's kind of like a bow on the top and a bow on the bottom. And they were designed by a runner who couldn't run anymore because of the pounding on his joints.
Right.
But he run. So he designed the boot and he started running on the boots. And they're really fun. And they actually have made a bunch of exercise videos that you can do with them, kind of like Zumba or something like that. Or they have some studios that you can go to. The shoes are a little bit more expensive. I can say that they run about $200 to $300 a pair. But I used them a lot. And what's nice is you can actually put them on and walk out in nature instead of just being like stuck in your house. Weather's nice, you can get outside and also get that. But I don't recommend them unless you have fairly strong knee muscles, because you can't bend your ankles and they raise you up a good 11 or 12 inches. So your balance, your center of balance is kind of way off. So if you don't have strong muscles, you need to work up to using them so you don't fall and hurt yourself. But they are really fun. So for the younger crowd or for the people who, would be interested in using that, it's a fun thing to get into doing.
Kelly, I have a
That's what
question.
I was going to add. The younger crowd.
The younger crowd, yeah. Kelly, I have a question. When you're talking about the vibrating machine, are you talking about the one that you lay down and you put a foot in each one? Is that the one no?
It's a plate, you stand on it, and there's that thing you hold on to, and it goes, you can change the vibration level, the speed.
I know which one you mean. See, the ones I'm referring to are some of the ones that you used to just put your feet in.
The Chi machine.
Yeah, like the Chi machine, but the old ones were not as good. The new Chi machines are fine. But okay, I know what you mean. You stand up and you hold on. Okay, got it. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, Cheryl.
Tracy, I just wanted to check and see if you might be able to post the PDF on the lymphatic system that Dr. Gloria showed. That'd be great.
Well, I'll post all the resources, including the menu that I have for a week 1, like a diet plan, and all Gloria's stuff.
Great.
I gave her everything about the Cleavers tea and how to make it, and the real clever little teapot that I got at Amazon. I've worn out 3 of them already through the last 10 or 15 years. I love it. I think Tracy ordered one, didn't you?
No, not yet, because I already have devices.
Oh, you have devices. But this is so simple. So she'll share them all. I already sent her all that information. It's what I took right out of my courses. So you'll have it right from the courses that I teach.
Can I also add that I also know a source for Cleavers tea.
Oh, great.
Sacred Medicine Sanctuary.
Oh, I gotta write that down.
And it's beautiful. Lots of wonderful Ayurvedic herbs and tinctures. And I know I've gotten the Cleavers tea from them.
Thank you. See, this is what's so beautiful about these forums.
Would you repeat that, please, the name?
Yeah.
Yes, Sacred Medicine Sanctuary.
I'll
.org.
post a link. I will post a link because it's
Is it
actually
.org or .com?
I think it's .org.
Yeah, I think so.
Sacred dash medicine.
Sanctuary.org?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And Tracy, maybe what I could do is just verify it and I could send it to you. I can't do it right now.
Yeah, I just found it actually. And I
Okay.
just found the lymphatic stimulation tea and stuff. So yeah, it's all here.
Okay.
Thank
So it's
you.
sacred-medicinesanctuary.org.
Look in the chat. I just posted the
Oh,
link.
okay. You posted it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you,
Great.
Cheryl. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Steph.
There's Steph.
Thank you very much for coming in, Dr. Gloria. I have a quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm dealing with that issue right now with my sister. I actually scheduled her with a lymphatic masseuse, or a person who's been doing it for years, and that's their specialty. I actually just scheduled her like 3 days ago. We have a chi machine, we have the rebounder, we have the brushes, we have everything.
Everything.
But the question is, I want her to be able to do this and not be in so much pain, because needless to say, pain is not supposed to be it. But I see her legs swell up and I see her wrists swell up, and I notice things like that all the time. So where's the best place for her to start with her having all of the different tools?
Tracy, do I dare mention what I tell people they can't have if they have inflammation?
You do whatever you want. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not in
listening.
charge.
Okay.
Bring it on.
If she, as long as she continues to eat any food with preservatives or
No,
any
we don't.
nightshades, okay, or
Yeah,
any
we don't.
nightshades,
Yeah, we
she's
don't.
not going to get rid of inflammation. Do you know what nightshades are?
Yeah, we have been on, believe me, I actually provide her with all the food that she needs. I do that. So we don't have to worry too much about that.
Okay,
But
so
the
no
thing is-
tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, paprika, cayenne. Okay,
No,
no
we
eggplant.
stopped that.
Okay.
I stopped all of that when she had her first stroke. So I but the
I think
thing
the
is,
dry,
she's not
skin
moving.
brushing.
Huh?
Yeah, this dry skin brushing, to answer your question, would be
Okay.
where I would start, because I'd be concerned not knowing how much congestion she has because of the swelling and because of a past stroke. I would start slow, just like Cynthia said. You know, don't start with, try to start with a great, with an hour-long skin brushing. Do it gently so that it feels good on her, so that it's relaxing, and leave it at that. And do quarters in quarter sections of each part of the body, the arms, the legs, the trunk, and you'll be able to get the clue. Is it's feeling good? I've had people that are paraplegics, couldn't even stand a massage, and when I taught the therapist how to do the gentle dry skin brushing, they'd go, "Oh, that feels so good." So take a clue from her as to how it feels, and that'll tell you what you should start with. But I would start with the dry skin brushing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steph. Okay, Linda and then Kira. You're muted, babe. Whoops, sorry, that was me. Unmute. There you go.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Gloria. I have a HyperVibe machine also, but I hadn't used mine since I started using the device in April, because I thought it was since it vibrates, that it was a frequency device. So I hadn't been using it, and I'm happy to know that I can.
Cynthia would have to answer that. I don't know that we can. Cynthia, it doesn't interfere, does it?
No, it's just movement.
So there
There's no
are
frequency.
there are 100,000, if not more, devices out there. There's no way for me or Dr. Alfredo to know what each of these devices are.
Right.
And I would recommend that you look online and see if they are broadcasting frequencies.
This is not.
Then if
just
it's not,
vibrates.
it's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure, so.
Yes, thank you, Linda. Thank you, sweet Linda. You're so generous. She wants to be good for the program. I love that.
Are we allowed to use, is foot detox good with the?
Yes, Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Very
that takes care
good.
of lymphs too.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
What
I have
bats?
one
Get those with the electrodes,
Yeah.
pulling out toxins.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary
they're
what
great.
comes out of our body. Yeah,
It is, especially when it all of a sudden gets black and gooey.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do we have any more? If we have 5 minutes, I want to give one little.
Kira's got her hand raised.
Yeah,
Okay,
one
I want to
more.
give one little case study that'll take me a minute or two.
Okay, so
I,
first,
I've got to jump, y'all. Thank
ahead, Kira.
you.
Okay,
I love
thank you, Cynthia. Love
Thank
you. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you.
well, I just got flustered. So the last few, maybe 2 or 3 months, my intuition was telling me I need to work on my limbs. I need to work on my limbs. So I have a rebounder, I have a chi machine, and I have, stuff, and I've been doing cleanses and colonics and all that for years and years and years, but my lymph is always an issue. It's like when I went to Asia and they were reading my pulse, the guy said, "Oh, bad blood. Right. So that's me. So the lymphatic system, the circulation. And did I just hear you say that cayenne pepper, which is good for circulation, is not good for lymphatic?
Exactly. I did all the research, wrote the books on it, and worked with the university. And people go, "Oh, what do you mean I can't have my potatoes?" I am a gourmet cook and opening an institute for anti-inflammation cooking. And I can assure you, I can make a spaghetti sauce. I can make an Italian sauce taste just like it. I won awards for it. And there are no tomatoes, no paprika, no cayenne. The only time that I would use cayenne, and I have some in my spice cupboard, is when somebody would be having a heart attack. Then you put a pinch of cayenne under their tongue immediately, right, Kelly? And that is like, until you can get help for them, it's better than putting an aspirin. So I always have cayenne with me, and I have a little tiny vial that a pharmacist gave me in my travel bag when I traveled, but I would never put it on my food because it causes inflammation.
What about other spicy things like jalapenos and stuff
All
like
of
that?
them. All of them you can't have. You can have all of the Indian spices, for instance, the garam masala, all of the exotic spices that are not in the capsicum family or are not nightshades, which is solanine or solanase. That is the chemical that the doctor researcher at the University of Miami proved that if you have inflammation, it doesn't prove that if you don't have it, it's going to give it to you. If you have inflammation, his comment in lectures is it's like adding fuel to the fire. And I am a witness to that.
It makes sense. Jalapeno peppers being a nightshade, because peppers are a nightshade. So it does.
That's right. That's right. And when people say they can't have their potatoes, I just had hash browns this morning. And I made them with white sweet potatoes. They're not easy to find in Texas. Believe it or not, my institute, my gal that's there, I think Tracy's talked to her. She's been with me over 30 years. She still runs my institute in Idaho. She sends me the Idaho white sweet potatoes and sends me care packages about every 2 weeks. I get 4 or 5 potatoes. They're great big ones. And they taste just like it. They're a tiny bit sweeter, but by the time you put your herbs and your salt and pepper and your garlic, you don't know the difference. I make everything I would do with a potato: mashed, baked, hashed, country fries, whatever. And so when that's why I'm opening the institute, God willing, in San Antonio, because people have to learn how to cook without the things that we've been accustomed to. You want to make a pizza? Great. It better be gluten-free and it better not have a nightshade sauce. That's Dr. G's soapbox. Kelly?
I was just wondering, what about cassava or like yucca? Are those in the same
They're
family?
also, well, when I was in Ecuador, that was some of the things that I researched, but it doesn't affect everybody the same. You can have cassava chips and that's once in a while, but yucca, I can't do yucca. I can do cassava once in a while. So that's really individual, but it is part of the nightshade family, which is the solanase or the solanine. Yeah.
And not everybody, not 100% of people are sensitive to the nightshade. So we are bio-individual, and there's a great quote: one man's fuel is another man's poison, or something like that.
Well, that's right. But in 45 years of practice, I can tell you that over 90% of the people I work with, if they have inflammation, even if they're in denial, It adds to it, whether it's coronary heart disease, blood pressure, whatever. If they don't have it, I don't think anybody can prove it'll give it to you because, you know, it's been eaten for centuries.
So Dr. Gloria, you said you had one more tip if we
One
had
more-
5 more minutes. And so let's
Okay,
finish with that.
Let's finish with that. It's not necessarily a tip, it's a case history I want to give real quick. I had a woman when I had my clinic in Idaho that I was out of town teaching, and she started having some pain in her breast and a lot of tenderness and swelling. Went to the emergency room. They sent her 45 miles away to the cancer clinic. They did some tests and told her that she had breast cancer and she immediately needed to have those breasts removed. I mean, scared the dickens out of her and the family. The husband didn't know what to do. I was out of the country teaching because they were very loyal patients for natural health. And she had her breast removed. They scheduled her the next morning, kept her overnight. I got back 2 weeks later. She came to see me. And I said, do you have the results of your test? She said, yeah, let me look at them. And all the lymph nodes were involved. And I said, when do you go back? She says, I go back in 6 weeks. It'll be another 4 weeks or so. When she went back, do you know what they had the audacity to tell her? When she questioned him, well, yeah, it could have been just clogged lymph, but it's safer to get your breast removed and not talk about a potential lawsuit, but you can't because you sign away your life. That woman I thought was going to have a nervous breakdown, and so was her family. She lost both breasts. I was out of the country 2 weeks, and it was clogged lymph nodes. So we sent her to a therapist quite a ways away, but because, you know, Idaho's pretty remote up north by the Canadian border. And she said, yeah, she's just loaded. I mean, the lymph nodes were all, we sent her for a full body scan with the thermography, if any of you are familiar with that, where it shows the heat. It's not doing a mammogram, it's thermography. She was red everywhere. I have the scans, and it was because she was clogged. So all of those dead cells were floating around in her lymph, and they removed both breasts. And when she went to see an attorney, he said, you signed everything away. Your rights, they can say, well, we thought that was the safest thing to do. So she was in her late 40s and lost both breasts because they told her that, it was probably lymph, but it was safer to just remove them and get rid of any of the risk. So I'm telling you, because don't let somebody give you that BS. Get a second and third opinion if you have to, but don't allow anybody to scare you into doing something, because there's a lot of money in sickness. There's no money in wellness.
And I'm sure there's a lot of us who have experienced this in our lifetimes.
So you know it from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was very young, so
Linda, but make sure you get on that tea. It's miraculous.
Yeah.
Unless you have low blood pressure, the tea will be miraculous. So thank you, everybody. I hope we can do more of these so that we can guide each other and be the light of the future for everybody in the world. That's why I put the light behind me.
You just said unless you have low blood pressure?
Yeah. Because remember that it lowers blood pressure. That's the only side effect.
The tea.
Right. I know. I'm just thinking about that because my blood pressure it's not dangerously low, but I'm just like consistently low my whole life. I'm just really
well, if it's consistently low, you can probably go a little bit low, but don't go dangerously low.
Okay.
Or dilute it and just drink 1 cup and dilute it, but do it regularly. Remember, it's consistency, not quantity. Right, Kelly?
I just heard that and I went, wait, what?
Yeah, no, but remember, that's the only side effect is it does lower blood pressure, which is why in natural health, in holistic rejuvenation, we use it to lower blood pressure when people choose to be off their medication.
And most people need that. So, but some of us have low blood pressure. So just keep an eye on everything and notice how you feel. Low blood pressure, you're going to feel it right away. So,
oh yeah, but make sure you check it. Don't assume. Somebody was on the line the other day and they hadn't checked their blood pressure or their blood sugar, I guess it was. No, don't assume. Check it. That's what we have gauges for.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Gloria, thank you guys. Next week, we will be back with Darlene is going to talk about gut health. And I will be posting lots of videos on fitness, and I will share all the documents that I promised in the chat. Okay.
Good. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you, Dr. Gloria. We'll talk
more
soon.
than welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.